The energy blade hummed through the air so fast Marcus only saw the shimmer. His body moved before his mind caught up, muscle memory from 12 years of royal service overriding every survival instinct. He shoved Princess Alara sideways and felt the superheated edge slice through his shoulder like it was cutting smoke. The pain arrived a heartbeat later, white-hot and absolute. He hit the ground hard, blood already soaking through his dress uniform. The grand hall of the Valorian flagship erupted in chaos. Alara's scream pierced through the ringing in his ears. The assassin, some faction radical with murder in his compound eyes, raised the blade for another strike. Marcus tried to move, tried to reach his sidearm, but his right arm wouldn't respond. Then the temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees in 2 seconds. Queen Shiravan materialized between Marcus and the assassin, her forearms spread wide, her chitinous armor glowing with bioluminescent fury. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The assassin's blade hand separated from his body before Marcus's pain-fogged brain registered she'd moved. The would-be killer collapsed, shock overriding his ability to scream. "Lock down this sector," Shiravan said, her voice resonating through translator implants in every ear. "Find everyone who knew his access codes." Royal guards, both human and Valorian, flooded the hall. Marcus felt hands on him, pressure on his wound, voices speaking in urgent tones. He tried to focus on Princess Alara, needed to see she was safe, but his vision kept tunneling. "The human is bleeding out," someone said. Valorian military physician, judging by the clicking consonants, then stopped the bleeding. Shiravan's voice. "Closer now." Marcus felt something cool press against his shoulder, some kind of emergency sealant that made the pain spike before it started to recede. "Prepare my medical wing." "He's coming with us." "Your Majesty, the diplomatic protocols are suspended." The Queen's face filled Marcus's vision, her 3 eyes rotating independently to examine him. "This human took a killing blow meant for an ally's heir. That makes him mine to protect." Marcus tried to speak, to explain that his duty was to return to Earth with the princess, to see her safely home. His mouth opened, but only blood came out. "Don't talk!" One of Shiravan's secondary hands touched his forehead, surprisingly gentle. "You severed your subclavian artery. Without immediate intervention, you'll be dead in minutes. My physicians are better equipped to save you than yours." Valorian medical technology was centuries ahead of Earth's, but protocol demanded he stay with Princess Alara. He'd been assigned to her protection detail since she was 6 years old. He'd never left her side during an active threat. Marcus. Alara's face appeared next to the Queen's, tears streaming down her cheeks. The 14-year-old princess gripped his good hand with both of hers. "Please let them help you, please." He wanted to tell her it was fine, that he'd taken worse hits in the border conflicts, that royal guards didn't break that easily. But the lie wouldn't form. His vision was graying at the edges despite the sealant. "I'll keep her safe," Shiravan said, reading his expression. "You have my word as queen and as the one whose alliance celebration you just bled to protect. Your princess will be guarded by my personal retinue until you're recovered. You can't separate them." Ambassador Chen appeared in Marcus's peripheral vision, his diplomatic composure cracking. Earth protocols didn't stop that blade. Shiravan stood, lifting Marcus with 2 arms while her other 2 gestured commands to her guards. "Earth protocols didn't put a body between death and my honored guest. This human's courage bought him my protection, Ambassador. I suggest you don't insult us both by demanding I withdraw it." Marcus felt himself being moved, carried through corridors that blurred into streams of light. Voices argued in the distance, Alara's among them, but they grew fainter. The pain medication they'd injected was pulling him under. The last thing he remembered clearly was a vast medical chamber, walls lined with technology that pulsed with organic light. Valorian physicians swarmed around him, their movements precise and impossibly fast. Queen Shiravan stood at the foot of the surgical platform, all 4 arms crossed, her central eye locked on him. "You're not dying on my ship, human," she said. "I won't allow it." Then the darkness took him, and Marcus fell into dreams filled with burning blades and the sound of a child's scream. He woke to the sensation of breathing wrong. Not painful exactly, but different. Each breath felt deeper, more efficient, like his lungs were pulling in twice the oxygen they should. Marcus opened his eyes to dim blue light and the low hum of alien machinery. The medical chamber's ceiling was transparent, showing the stars streaking past in faster-than-light transit. They were moving. Away from the diplomatic station where the summit had been held. Away from Earth's delegation. Away from Princess Alara. Marcus sat up too fast. His shoulder screamed in protest, but held. He looked down at the wound site and froze. His entire right shoulder and upper chest were covered in something that looked like living silver, metallic fibers woven through his skin, pulsing faintly with each heartbeat. Valorian biomesh, a voice said. One of the physicians, a female with deep purple chitin, approached with a scanning device. Your artery was destroyed. We had to rebuild the entire vascular network in your shoulder. The mesh is permanent. It's integrated with your nervous system now. How long was I unconscious? 37 hours. You're healing remarkably well for a human. Most would still be sedated. She ran the scanner across his chest. Your cellular regeneration rate is impressive. Very unusual. Marcus swung his legs off the platform, testing his balance. Everything worked, even the right arm, though the biomesh felt strange when he moved. I need to speak with Queen Shiravan. I'll inform her you're awake. The physician hesitated. You should know there's been some difficulty with your delegation. What kind of difficulty? The kind where humans threaten military action if you're not returned immediately. The physician's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The Queen is not impressed. Marcus closed his eyes. Of course, Ambassador Chen had escalated. The man followed protocol like scripture. Separating a royal guard from their assigned principal during an active threat was a court-martial offense. Never mind that Marcus would have died without Valorian intervention. Where's Princess Alara? Safe in the royal quarters, under constant guard. She's asked about you every 4 hours. The physician updated something on her scanner. The Queen has denied all her requests to visit. That made Marcus's jaw tighten. Alara would be terrified, separated from her security detail in an alien vessel while political tensions escalated around her. She was just a child, barely a teenager, and she'd just watched someone try to murder her. I need to see her. You need to see the Queen first. The physician gestured toward a door that hadn't been there before, or maybe Marcus just hadn't noticed it. She's waiting. The door led to a smaller chamber, some kind of observation room, with one wall entirely transparent to space. Queen Shiravan stood before it, her massive frame silhouetted against the stars. She didn't turn when Marcus entered. Your Ambassador Chen threatens war over you, she said. He's quite passionate about protocol violations. He's doing his job, Your Majesty. His job is to maintain diplomatic relations, not destroy them over salvageable situations. Shiravan finally turned, her 3 eyes finding him immediately. How do you feel? Like I was stabbed by an energy blade. Accurate, she crossed her primary arms while her secondary pair gestured at his shoulder. The biomesh will take several weeks to fully integrate. You'll notice enhanced strength and durability in that arm. Consider it compensation for the inconvenience. Marcus touched the silver webbing carefully. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for saving my alliance. That child represents Earth's commitment to peaceful relations with the Valorian collective. Her death would have shattered a decade of negotiation. Shiravan moved closer, studying him with an intensity that made Marcus want to step back. Why did you move? It's my job to protect her. You moved before the assassin fully committed to his strike, before anyone else in that room registered the threat. Her central eye narrowed. Enhanced reflexes? Marcus said nothing. His genetic modifications were classified, known only to the highest levels of Earth's security apparatus. Royal guards were screened and enhanced, but the specifics were never discussed. I see. Shiravan's mandibles spread in something approximating a smile. Earth keeps secrets too. How refreshing. I need to return to Princess Alara. Not yet. Your Majesty, with respect, I am not keeping you prisoner, Marcus Vance. Shiravan spoke his full name like she'd been practicing it. I'm keeping you alive. There are 3 more assassins on the diplomatic station. My intelligence corps is hunting them, but until they're found, everyone who attended that summit remains at risk. Marcus's enhanced mind processed the implications immediately. The attack wasn't opportunistic. It was the opening move in a coordinated strike meant to collapse the alliance before it solidified. Shiravan pulled up a holographic display showing the station layout, with multiple points marked in red. We've identified 2 more access breaches and found weapons caches in the ventilation systems. If you'd return Princess Alara to the Earth delegation, she'd likely be dead by now. The cold precision of it made Marcus's blood run hot. How many people are involved? At least 15. Possibly more. The Queen dismissed the hologram. My security forces are conducting a full purge, but it will take time. Until then, this ship is the safest location in the sector. The princess doesn't know this. The princess knows she's protected, and that you're recovering. That's sufficient. Shiraven moved to a curved couch designed for Valorian anatomy and settled onto it, gesturing for Marcus to sit opposite. What she doesn't need is the knowledge that faction radicals want her dead specifically because she's young enough to shape future policy. That kind of fear marks children permanently. Marcus remained standing. She's already afraid. She watched me get cut down. Children are resilient when they see competence and control. Shiraven studied him with that unnerving triple gaze. You've been with her since she was 6. You're more than a bodyguard to her. It wasn't a question, but Marcus answered anyway. I'm her security detail. You're the closest thing to family she has outside her actual family. Her parents sent her to the summit with you specifically because she trusts you absolutely. Shiraven leaned forward. Do you understand what happens if I send you back to the station and you die in a secondary attack? Marcus understood perfectly. Alara would blame herself. She'd spend the rest of her life believing her protection detail died because she couldn't be kept safe. So I'm to hide here while others do my job. You're to recover here while my people eliminate the threat. Then you'll return to your princess alive and whole. And she'll never need to know how close we came to losing both of you. Shiraven's tone softened slightly. I've ruled for 40 years, Marcus Vance. I've seen what happens when children in power lose the people who make them feel safe. It breaks something in them that never fully heals. Marcus wanted to argue, to insist that protocol demanded he return immediately regardless of risk. But Shiraven wasn't wrong. And if the Queen's intelligence was accurate, going back now would just make him a target that could lead assassins straight to Alara. How long until the station is secure? 70 to 2 hours, assuming no complications. Marcus could endure 3 days if it meant keeping Alara truly safe. I want updates every 6 hours. And I want to send a message to the princess. Updates, yes. Messages, no. Shiraven raised a hand before Marcus could protest. Any communication could be intercepted and used to track locations. The assassins are well equipped. We're maintaining total signal silence on all matters related to you and the princess until the threat is neutralized. Ambassador Chen, which was true for the first 30 hours. Shiraven stood, towering over Marcus even at a distance. I'm not your enemy here. I'm trying to protect an alliance that cost both our peoples considerable effort to build. That alliance dies if the princess dies. It also dies if the dramatic human who saved her bleeds out because I sent him back into danger too early. He'd never been separated from a principal during an active threat. The wrongness of it made his enhanced nerves scream. But the alternative was worse. 72 hours, he said. Not a minute longer. Agreed. Shiraven moved toward the exit, then paused. My physicians tell me you should rest. Your body is still integrating the repairs. I've rested for 37 hours. Your techniques might prove educational. The Queen's mandibles spread in that alien smile again. And it will keep you occupied while my people work. Marcus recognized the offer for what it was, a way to burn off the nervous energy that came from being forced into inaction. He nodded once, accepting. The training halls of a Valorian flagship turned out to be equal parts gymnasium and combat laboratory. Marcus watched warriors with 4 arms practice weapon forms that would have been impossible for humans to replicate. The speed, the precision, the sheer physical power on display made it clear why the Valorian collective had dominated this sector for centuries. The sparring instructor approached him, her kitten a deep crimson that indicated high rank. You're the human who stopped the blade. Word traveled fast. Would you like to test it? Marcus glanced at his shoulder. The biomesh pulsed steadily. No pain. Just that strange feeling of something foreign integrated into his body. I'm cleared for training? The Queen herself authorized it. She's curious about human combat capabilities. The instructor gestured to a sparring ring. Non-lethal engagement, of course. I have no desire to damage our honored guest. The fight lasted 90 seconds. Marcus held his own for the first minute, using speed and unpredictability to counter the instructor's 4-armed advantage. But Valorian warriors trained from childhood in ways that made human martial arts look like dance exercises. When she finally got past his guard and locked 3 of her arms around him in an inescapable hold, Marcus had to tap out. Your speed is remarkable, she said, releasing him. But you fight like you're protecting something. Always positioning, always creating distance. That's what I do. Not here. Here you're just a warrior. She reset her stance. Again. This time, attack like you mean it. They sparred for 2 hours. By the end, Marcus was exhausted and covered in bruises, but some of the nervous energy had burned off. The instructor bowed to him, a gesture of respect that surprised him. You adapt quickly. In a few weeks you might actually challenge me. She grinned, showing rows of sharp teeth. The Queen chooses her interests wisely. Marcus showered in the facilities provided, watching the biomesh shimmer under the water. The silver fibers seemed to drink in the moisture, pulsing brighter for a moment before returning to their steady rhythm. When he returned to his assigned quarters, he found Queen Shiravan waiting. You fight well for someone with a healing wound, she observed. The wound doesn't hurt anymore. Because the biomesh is blocking the pain signals, the injury is still there. She moved into his quarters without invitation, examining the space like she was cataloging every detail. I've received word from the station. My forces eliminated 2 of the 3 remaining assassins. The 3rd went into hiding in the civilian sectors. How long until they find him? He's proven resourceful. Shiravan turned to face him fully. I'm extending your stay another 48 hours. That wasn't our agreement. Our agreement was based on securing the station. Her tone brooked no argument. I won't risk you or the princess until every threat is eliminated. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. 5 days? You're asking me to abandon my post for 5 days. I'm asking you to trust my judgment, something you did when you let my physicians rebuild your shoulder. Shiravan stepped closer, invading his personal space in a way that would have been threatening if not for the genuine concern in her eyes. You're frustrated. I understand, but dead guards protect no one, and isolated princesses lose trust in the people meant to keep them safe. Then we'll arrange a supervised meeting. Tomorrow, after you've rested, you can see Princess Alera and confirm her safety yourself. Shiravan's secondary hands made a gesture Marcus had learned meant sincerity. She deserves to see her recovering, and you deserve to see she's unharmed. The concession surprised him. Ambassador Chen will demand to be present. Ambassador Chen will be informed after the meeting concludes. I'm not negotiating with him anymore. He's become tiresome. The Queen moved toward the exit. Rest, Marcus Vance. Tomorrow you'll need your strength. Alera has been asking difficult questions and she'll want real answers. After Shiravan left, Marcus stood in the silence of his quarters, staring at his reflection in the polished metal wall. The biomesh gleamed against his skin, a permanent reminder of the moment he'd made himself a shield. He wondered what Alera would think when she saw it. The meeting was arranged in a garden chamber, one of the few places on the Valorian flagship designed for human comfort. Real plants imported from Earth grew in careful arrangements, filtered sunlight streaming through transparent hull sections. Marcus arrived first, flanked by 2 Valorian guards who maintained a respectful distance. Then Alera entered, and protocol evaporated. She ran to him, 14 years old and too dignified to cry, but doing it anyway, wrapping her arms around his waist and holding on like she thought he might disappear. Marcus felt his professional detachment crack. I'm all right, he said quietly, letting her cry into his uniform. I'm all right, Your Highness. I saw... Her voice broke. There was so much blood. I'm sorry you had to see that. Marcus carefully returned the embrace, mindful of his healing shoulder. But I'm here now. I'm fine. Alera pulled back enough to look up at him, her eyes red and puffy. Then she saw the biomesh and her breath caught. What is that? Valorian medical technology. They had to repair some damage. Marcus kept his voice steady, matter of fact. It looks strange, but it works perfectly. The mesh pulsed at the contact, and Alera jerked her hand back. It's alive? Integrated. It responds to nerve impulses, like regular tissue. Marcus demonstrated by flexing his arm, watching the mesh ripple with the movement. In a few weeks, I won't even notice it's there. Does it hurt? Not anymore. Alera studied his face, looking for lies the way she'd learned to read people in diplomatic training. Whatever she saw seemed to satisfy her because she nodded slowly. Queen Shiravan says you have to stay here a few more days because of more assassins. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Is that true? Are there really more? Marcus glanced at the Valorian guards, who had pointedly turned their attention elsewhere to give them privacy. He knelt down so he was eye level with Alera. Yes, but they're being dealt with. You're safe here, safer than you'd be anywhere else right now. He watched her process that, saw the fear flicker across her face before she pushed it down. I know this is scary. I know you want to go home. But I need you to be brave a little longer. I am being brave. Alera straightened her spine, pulling on the royal composure she'd been trained to wear like armor. I haven't cried in front of anyone except you. Pride swelled in Marcus's chest. That's my princess. A few more days, once the Queen's people make sure it's absolutely safe. Marcus stood, keeping his hand on her shoulder. Can you do that? Alara nodded, then surprised him by hugging him again, quick and fierce. Don't get hurt again. I'll do my best. She left with her escort, looking back twice before the garden door closed. Marcus stood alone among earth plants on an alien ship, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him like a familiar coat. Queen Shiraven appeared from a side entrance he hadn't known was there. You're good with her, the Queen observed. I've had practice. She trusts you completely. That's rare. Shiraven moved through the garden with surprising grace for her size, touching plants with her secondary hands. I had someone like you once, my first guard captain. She taught me that loyalty isn't demanded, it's earned through consistency. You lost her? 15 years ago. Border skirmish that turned into a massacre. Shiraven's voice carried old grief. She put herself between me and artillery fire. Her last words were an apology for failing her duty by dying. Marcus understood that pain intimately. She didn't fail, but she believed she did. Shiraven turned to face him. That's why I won't send you back until I'm certain of your survival. That child needs you intact, not martyred. With respect, Your Majesty, that's not your decision to make. Isn't it? You're on my ship, under my protection, recovering from injuries sustained protecting an ally during my summit. Shiraven's 3 eyes fixed on him with uncomfortable intensity. I could keep you here indefinitely if I chose. Claim medical necessity, diplomatic complexity, any number of valid excuses. Marcus felt his enhanced reflexes tense. You'd create an interstellar incident. Perhaps, but you'd be alive to complain about it. The Queen's mandibles clicked in dark amusement. Relax, Marcus Vance. I'm not actually planning to kidnap you. I'm simply pointing out that your safety has become important to me beyond mere diplomatic courtesy. Why? 'Cause you're exactly the kind of warrior I wish we had more of. Competent, loyal, and stupid enough to throw yourself in front of energy blades. Shiraven gestured at the garden around them. My own guards are trained to prioritize the throne's survival above all else, but they do it through systematic risk assessment. What you did was pure instinct. No calculation, no hesitation, just action. That's what royal guards do. Most royal guards position themselves strategically to intercept threats. You moved with the assassin's attack, predicted his angle before he fully committed. Shiraven tilted her head, studying him. Those are enhancements I'm not supposed to know about. I don't know what you mean. Of course you don't. The Queen's tone suggested she knew he was lying but didn't care. Keep your secrets. I'm simply acknowledging that you're valuable, and valuable things should be protected. Before Marcus could respond, one of Shiraven's guards entered the garden at speed, his movements urgent despite obvious attempts at decorum. Your Majesty, we have a situation. The Queen's entire demeanor shifted instantly, relaxation vanishing into cold authority. Report. The remaining assassin just attempted to access the royal quarters. He was intercepted and eliminated, but not before transmitting a final message. The guard's mandibles clicked nervously. He wasn't trying to reach the princess. Shiraven's eyes narrowed. Who was his target? The human guard. Someone wants him dead specifically. The garden felt suddenly colder. Marcus processed the information with enhanced speed, running scenarios and probabilities. If he was a target, that meant someone knew about his modifications. Knew he was more than just a royal guard. Show me the transmission, Shiraven commanded. The guard projected a hologram between them. Marcus watched his own face appear in the display, a tactical breakdown of his movements during the first assassination attempt. Someone had analyzed his reaction speed frame by frame, cataloging every enhancement marker. Then a voice, digitally masked. The guard knows too much. Eliminate him before the human government realizes what he represents. Marcus's mind raced through implications. Someone in Earth's security apparatus was leaking classified information to faction radicals. Someone high enough to know about the genetic modification programs. You're a military secret, Shiraven said quietly. Not just enhanced, experimental. There was no point denying it now. Yes, how many like you exist? I don't know. The program's compartmentalized. Marcus met her gaze steadily. What matters is that someone in my chain of command is compromised. What matters, Shiraven corrected, is that you're now a target for reasons that have nothing to do with protecting Princess Alera. Returning you to Earth might be exactly what gets you killed. I can't stay here. You can't leave. Not until we identify the leak and secure your safety. The Queen dismissed the hologram with a gesture. This changes everything. The Princess will be informed that your recovery requires extended medical supervision, which is now actually true, since someone clearly wants you dead. Shiravan's tone left no room for argument. You're staying on this ship until I personally guarantee your safety, Marcus Vance. That's not a request. You can't just, I can and I am. The Queen moved closer, her full height towering over him. You saved my alliance. You protected my honored guest. Now I'm protecting you, whether you like it or not. Marcus wanted to argue, to insist he could handle his own security, but the cold logic of the situation was undeniable. Someone with access to classified Earth military data wanted him eliminated. Returning now would be walking into a trap. How long, he asked? Until my intelligence core identifies the leak and determines whether it's isolated or systemic. Shiravan's expression softened slightly. I know this isn't what you want, but you're no good to Princess Alera dead. She was right. Marcus hated that she was right. I need to send a message to my command. Warn them. Any message you send could expose you further. We don't know who's monitoring communications. Shiravan shook her head. I'll have my people contact Earth's security through secure diplomatic channels. They can investigate without revealing your location. Marcus felt trapped, his instincts screaming to return to his duty, while his enhanced tactical mind acknowledged the Queen was making the right call. This is going to create problems. This already created problems when someone decided your existence was worth dying to hide. Shiravan gestured to her guard. Escort Marcus Vance to the secure wing. Full protection detail. No one gets close to him without my personal authorization. Wait. Marcus stopped the guard with a hand gesture. If I'm being moved to secure quarters, I want daily access to Princess Alera. She's already been through enough. I won't have her thinking I've abandoned her. Shiravan considered this for a long moment. Supervised visits, 1 hour per day. Agreed. And I want access to your intelligence reports. If my people are compromised, I need to know everything you learn. Bold request. The Queen's mandibles spread, and what Marcus had learned was respect. Agreed. Within reason. You'll be briefed daily on relevant findings. The guard led Marcus through corridors he hadn't seen before, deeper into the flagship's protected interior. The secure wing turned out to be a series of chambers built like a fortress, with overlapping security systems and guards posted at every junction. His new quarters were larger than before, almost luxurious, but Marcus barely noticed. His mind was processing the last hour's revelations, trying to identify who in Earth's command structure would have reason to betray him. The enhancement program was top secret, known only to maybe 30 people across the entire government. That someone in that small circle was feeding information to faction radicals meant the leak was high-level and intentional. Marcus touched his biomesh shoulder, feeling the alien technology pulse under his fingers. He'd come to the summit to protect a princess. Now he was trapped on an alien flagship, hunted by his own government, under the protection of a queen who seemed to have adopted him as a personal project. His communicator chimed. Marcus answered to find Shiravan's face filling the screen. One more thing, she said. The assassin who targeted you was carrying a toxin specifically designed to degrade human genetic modifications. Someone wanted to make sure you stayed dead. The implication settled over Marcus like ice water. Not just murdered, erased. Every trace of the enhancement program destroyed with his death. Whoever's behind this is cleaning house, he said. Yes, which means you're likely not the only target. Shiravan's 3 eyes studied him through the screen. Sleep if you can. Tomorrow we start hunting whoever wants you dead. The screen went dark, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts and the steady pulse of alien technology woven through his shoulder. 3 days had stretched to indefinite, and somewhere in the diplomatic chaos, Marcus Vance had become something more than a royal guard in exile. He'd become a liability someone desperately wanted eliminated. The question was who and how far they were willing to go to make it happen. 2 halves.